Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the HyperX D2L Season 4. Ahead, we've got a matchup of Evil Geniuses taking on Na'Vi. Now, Na'Vi, fresh off their loss to Alliance. That loss secured Alliance a position in Las Vegas at our grand finals coming up in January. However, Na'Vi still a front runner to try and finish strong, perhaps in that second seed position, moving ahead to our bubble race playoffs. And at this point, it's all about jockeying for position, especially with one less team in the field, as Dignitas has announced they have dropped their Dota team. So EG, another one of those teams, going to benefit from that and try to make some noise, try to play their way into our playoffs coming up on December 6th. Let's take a look at the lineup, see where these two teams stand. Na'Vi, of course, a team that hardly needs an introduction. Led by Puppy on the support and jungle position, Havost on the hard carry, Dindy in mid, Phonic in the off lane with Kuro on the hard support. They interplay 2 and 2, so they did take a surprise loss earlier as well, dropping a series to Team Liquid in a big upset that could very much end up having a huge effect on where they finish overall. However, still a lot of Dota to be played. They could potentially finish 5 and 2, but that'll have to begin with a win today here against Evil Geniuses. Speaking of this EG squad, they're on the other side of the river, and they come into play right on the bubble. They're at that 4 matches played mark. Means they only have 3 more to go. They're 1 and 3 in the standings right now. They pretty much have to win out to give themselves a chance to make it into the playoffs again. Dignitas going to be dropping from our field, so because of that, they will have a solid shot, but they really need an upset win. Hard to tell how they'll finish out. If they end up with a loss here, they could potentially sneak into the bottom, but they certainly don't want to find themselves in that position yet. Fear on the support jungle position. He's actually been playing carry again for the most part. Of course, Fear has bounced both back and forth between playing the 4 and playing the 1, but EG has seemed revitalized in the past few days with Fear back in the farming position. Jo, hard carry, is listed on the official roster. He's been alternating in and out. He can play mid. He can also play any of the support positions. MSS so far has been the mid, the consistent mid, despite any other shifts in how they've decided to lane out their team. So he's a young and developing talent who still has a lot of room to improve, but when he's on, he could be a huge difference maker. Universe in the off lane and Fog in the hard support, that Dignitas exile who really has brought so much to this team. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Thanks again for being a part of the broadcast. Guys, we only have a few more days of Western Division action ahead of us. And again, with Dignitas taking the dropping from the field, I should say, amidst all of their roster turmoil, we actually don't even have that many series left to be played. This one is going to be so important for both squads. We'll have to find out if EG is up to the task as they come in heavy underdogs against Na'Vi. I'll be joined once again by Ben Merlini-Wu, and lending his hand to the stats, that'll be Nahaz Dota. Gonna be a treat. Stick with us, guys. We'll be right back with Game 1 of this leadoff best of 3 of the day. Na'Vi EG here on the HyperX D2L. And we're live for game number 1. EG taking on Na'Vi. As we can see, the draft already well underway. EG has led off with a pair of aggressive picks in the Lifestealer and the Bounty Hunter in particular. Na'Vi keeping things wide open as they snag up that Venomancer. And, post 6.79, Veno was getting picked very early, even banned very early for a while. Fell off a little bit, especially in the East, but now making kind of a big comeback. We're seeing him picked up in the first phase very, very frequently just because of how well he fits into any sort of team composition. He can push, he can anti-push, he can team fight early, he can roam, he can gank, and he can even make use of some farm, as we've seen some fairly farmed Venomancers over the past couple of days. To break down this draft and, of course, lend his insight and analysis to the entire game as he has throughout our entire tournament, welcome in once again, Ben Merlini-Wu. Now, Ben coming in, Na'Vi again, coming off what has to be described as a pretty one-sided loss to Alliance. They did get the best of them in the We Play finals, but here in the D2L group stage, Alliance just didn't seem to struggle too much in handling them. They really need to get a win to get things back on track, but EG, once again, sitting right on that bubble, this match just as
5 seconds remaining. 5
important to them in a very different way.
It has been looking actually not too good in D2L. They dropped 2-0 versus Liquid and 2-0 versus Alliance too.
Yep.
So that's very surprising, I think, to most people, especially to me. And they really do need this win in order to secure a high seed in the bubble race, as you said. And they said that they were lacking sleep yesterday, which
It's fair.
I mean it's fair. It's fair enough. But this is at a very normal time. So I fully expect Navi to be very well prepared for this match. On the flip side, we have Evil Geniuses who already played 5 games earlier today.
Yep.
They had to play 3 games in the G League versus Empire that extended to 3, and they also lost or they played Speed, and that was a 2-game series. So they played 5 games, and this is an American squad too. So they were playing in the middle of the night, their time. So this is I'm very scared for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, not gonna lie, and yeah, I was actually talking about this with our producer Conrad and such. EG just kinda hasn't slept, and they're coming into this match underdogs to begin with, and not because they're a terrible team. It's not as if EG doesn't have the talent to take down Na'Vi, as we saw. Team Liquid actually managed to pick off Na'Vi, and granted that was with Na'Vi playing with a stand-in.
And EG beat Alliance yesterday.
Exactly, and right now there's so much parity in the West, and I'm sure as we get closer and closer, and it's almost funny to be saying this at this stage, but as we get towards the end of the year on into spring and we start looking towards the International 2014, I'm sure we'll start to see the cream rise to the top. As if you'll remember correctly, back last year or early in 2013, EG actually looked to be a lot stronger than they turned out to be towards the end. So still a lot of development left on all of these squads, especially post roster shift. But right now, big test for both. EG comes in sleeping, Na'Vi coming in, one would imagine, fresh. And it's actually going to be EG that snags up that Chin pick to go with the already aggressive Bounty Hunter pick. Now, Bounty and Chin, that combination in particular, Merlini, usually when you see a Bounty Hunter pick up, you want some gank potential out of roaming, or you want to just flat out 5-man. Chin adds a little bit of a different wrinkle to that. Break that down.
I think it's just more of a deny pick against Navi, just because Navi loves all 3 of these heroes. So Boast loves playing Lifestealer, Funnick loves playing the Bounty Hunter, and Puppy loves his Chen. So, I mean, the synergy is like, it's weird because Bounty Hunter, he kind of just like roams around, or he's in the off lane, and you don't really help his lane out. Chen is often an early pressure, but it does really come together when they start team fight. But Chen is more of a pusher, and I don't know. It's not amazing synergy. I would like to get Nahaz's stats on those 2 heroes combined, but I don't predict it to be anything out of the norm. Navi, on the other hand, going with the Venomancer first pick, and the Visage Venomancer. Kuroki has a very scary Visage, by the way, and he is just really good on that hero. Weaver most likely for a Vost.
And coming back around to the Bounty Hunter Chin pick, I mean, you kind of touched on exactly what I was thinking. I mean, when you see, Chin obviously can roam around, especially when played in capable hands. We actually saw JO's Chin in action not long ago, and it was solid. Like, he played a pretty damn good Chin. I mean, it wasn't like tip-top anything, but then again, JO probably hasn't played Chin in competitive Dota in a long, long time, if at all.
He has a good wisp, too.
Yeah.
So I like the switch from Fear to Dazzle. Wow. Yeah. So Dazzle is something that's actually been somewhat popular recently. When Rock's Kiss beat out Alliance, they used Dazzle as well as Slardar, and we may very well see the Slardar pick up from Navi. I'm pretty sure they should ban it out if they're going to in the last phase, because it's very good versus Weaver, and I mean they already have track for Weaver, but I mean if someone's tracking Amp, they're just gonna fall. So Tidehunter will be the pick. I do not like the Tidehunter pick versus Lifestealer. It does give them AoE, but I think they could have used something like Magnus if they really wanted an AoE initiate like that, even a Enigma that Puppy loves to play, although it would make their lanes a little bit weird. So I'm not exactly sure why they picked the Tidehunter this early.
The issue I have with the Tidehunter is just how little effect Ravage is going to have unless the follow-through is absolutely perfect. You see Visage and Venomancer. Veno doesn't have a stun. Weaver doesn't have a stun. Visage can use his familiars to get a stun or two, but even those are short duration. like you said, the Life Stealer, obviously problematic for a Tidehunter, and then he has Magic Immunity. A Bounty Hunter is going to have Shadow Walk to get himself out of trouble if he's caught directly with Ravage. Then you have a Chen who is most likely going to be getting up a mechanism as quickly as possible with Hand of God. So, I mean, Tidehunter is very effective in the early and middle stages of the game, if for no other reason than Ravage not only does it disable, but it does a fair amount of damage, especially to support heroes. But you have one hero who can rage through it, one who can escape if the fight's not going the way he wants it to. Then you have Chen, who's going to have a big-time heal. Then you're going to have Shadow Wave from Dazzle to heal heroes up, as well as Shallow Grave to bail a hero out. It just seems like a pick that could very well end up feeling kind of like it doesn't have as big an effect as you really want a Tidehunter to have. And, you could talk BKBs. I suppose Bounty Hunter could get one up. We've seen, that's not uncommon at all. But that's not really going to matter when the primary damage dealer on the side of EG already has built-in Magic Immunity and Infest as an escape. If the fight isn't going well, this EG squad just has so many ways. And now with a Windrunner who can Windrun away, they can basically just say, oh, you blew Ravage. Let's fall back, heal up, see if we can lose no one. And now your Ravage is on cooldown for a long time, and we're going to feel fine pushing into you.
And the Storm coming out from Na'Vi, then that's a really good pickup because they don't have any disabled aside from what little Chen has from his creeps and unreliable Shackle from Windrunner. So Dendi, this is a Dendi hero too. Dendi yesterday he played Kunkka and S4 just kind of dominated him.
Yep.
And I forget his other hero. Batrider was his second hero, and Batrider is not my iconic Dendi hero. This Storm Spirit though is definitely one of them. So I really like the Storm Spirit pickup from them. The Tidehunter pickup I'm kind of like meh about so is the Dazzle. So I think overall the draft is fairly even from both teams.
Gonna need you to flip yourself on at Dota TV. Sorry to the Dota viewers who only heard my baseline.
Thank you very much, AC.
Not a problem, brother. And do apologize once again. Usually we don't find out or get the feedback on that. At
least it's early, before the creeps spawn.
Exactly. Would have loved to have heard your inside analysis, but, I echoed a lot of what you said. So they got the gist, though certainly not as insightful as you would have delivered. But talking about this Dazzle pick, what I do really like about this is just how strong EG's guns forward approaches be. Whenever you get a Chen moving in the same direction, you get the Life Stealer ready to go, so on and so forth. Being able to throw down the weave for the bonus armor that comes off of that. I mean, the armor reduction will certainly be nice with the Life Stealer on team, but even more so than that, just being able to throw that down and buff your own team up as they look to move forward under the enemy tower, going to be excellent. But the Storm Spirit pick from Na'Vi, I think, really is the standout pick here for them. Gives them a chance to get on top of EG in a much more unpredictable way. And, of course, we know how slippery Havos Weaver can be. So Horn's going to blow. Doesn't look like either team really going to venture onto the other side. So we'll take a look at our lineups. We'll have Puppy playing on our Venomancer this time around, with Havos as anticipated playing on our Weaver. The Storm Spirit going to be taken mid by Dendi. They're going to be looking to get a lot of mileage out of him early on. Kuro going to be on this Visage. We'll be keeping an eye on this. As you said, Kuro's Visage is really just kind of sick good. And down here in the safe lane, we're going to have fun at handling the Tidehunter. Looks like he will be joined by Puppy. The other side of the river, we got Fear back in the carry position. Looks like he's found his home back in the number one. He'll be on the Life Stealer. Dazzle going to be played by Fogged with Chen. Handled once again by Jo. And like we said, we got a good look at Jo's Shin. It really is pretty quality stuff. I mean, it's something I'm sure he'll get even better at as he plays it more and more in competitive. Windrunner going to be played by MSS here in mid. We'll break that pick down here in just a moment, but it's going to be Universe on the Bounty. Should have no problem getting not just levels, but some pretty fair amount of CS down here in this bottom lane.
MSS has a lot of pressure on him this game, and Windrunner is kind of a hit or miss hero. We saw EGM absolutely dominate on it as a support role, but as a solo mid, we haven't seen too many dominant Windrunner performances, and already he's falling behind in CS 2-0 versus, oh, actually, he just caught up there, but he has to shut down Dendi, and if Dendi gets off to a good start and snowballs and gets an early Orchid, it is just going to be a world of pain for the Life Stealer and pretty much everybody on EG's team. So we'll be seeing how he does. We see Jay already harassed with the Wildcan. They did not actually block this spawn with his Observer Ward, but not too big of a deal for them. Looks like Jo is sacrificing experience in terms of just not creeping, but I guess it's pretty important for him to secure this lane.
Now, the big question for me out of MSS here in mid is going to be just how he's going to build. Is he going to go a mobility/utility build, getting up a quick mech? Is he going to get up the force staff? I mean, obviously, the mech carrier you would expect would be the Chen, but are they going to prioritize?
I think it should be a force sheep because he needs he needs to be able to survive in order to get a sheep, and they definitely need a sheep versus a storm spirit, or else they're just not going to be able to kill him. So, mech should be given or should be prioritized by Jo for sure.
Yep, I agree with you, and that's really where we've seen Windrunner in mid have the most success. Like if she's off in an off lane or even a 3 support tri lane and she farms a quick mech, it makes a lot more sense. Here in mid though, you just need a lot more out of her, and the ability to get off more shackle shots, more reliable shackles, if nothing else. Up, hang on. Kuro going to eat the open wounds up at top. Trying to stay on him. Fear's eating a lot of damage. Doesn't have a point in a rage. Here comes Jo, and he's going to get the Ursa slam off on Kuro. One more odd. Oh, he looped around the wrong way. Ursa's there. The Hellbear, I should say, to get the first blood. Havo's going to get a return kill most likely. And Will, he's so low. And the Shadow Wave does the job in healing him up and doing the damage. So Jo makes it away, sub 100 HP, 2-0, and EG jabs Na'Vi right in the eye.
Yeah, they have a ward over here. They have to play carefully just because they knew the Wildkin was up there before. So looks like Universe fiddling around with Puppey on bottom. They may actually initiate him if he's too close. But yeah, they know that the Chen is up there. So I don't know why they're playing so aggressively. And the heal definitely, I guess Havos was like, well, I can retreat and probably die, or I can get this kill and then definitely die. And he opted for the second option, except he didn't even get the kill because of the Shadow Wave from Fog. And that spell is really good at level 1. 80 heal for 4 targets, including the Shadow Priest, and only costing 80 mana with a 12-second cooldown. It's definitely worth the early point. Looks like Havos is actually trying to kill Jo.
And Havos chasing Jo out. Down at bottom, we saw Universe forced out of lane as well. He hung around a little too long, got caught with a Gale, and immediately popped the TP, knowing that Tide and Veno, just from pure right clicks and an anchor smash, were not going to be able to get the job done. So EG loses a little health, forced out of lane a bit. Kuro's going to be caught out one more time. And they're doing good damage here. And there's one more auto attack, and the Shadow Wave again. They're going to get him a second time. This is a disastrous top lane. EG taking a 3-0 lead. Who needs sleep, man? You've got Dazzle.
I think they should just at this point just ditch the lane, let Weaver solo it, and he really shouldn't die. They only have slows for the lane. I mean, the mini stun from Poison Touch, but that's pretty much it. So I think at this point, just damage control, let Kuro just farm somewhere else, or even just gank, maybe like bottom lane with a dust or something like that. You can't really kill MSS in mid unless he's already low from a decent amount of harass, but it's up to Denny to salvage this mid game for them. And Puppey has been relatively quiet. He's not that high in terms of experience compared to Fog. Fog is 4.5. Puppey just hit level 3. Or he's actually 3.5. And looking at Jo is not doing too badly himself. 3.5 on him.
Funnick just hit level 6. So they're going to have a very fast Ravage to put to use if they want to do so. Bounty, played by Universe, is coming up on 5, so not too far away from the track. So all of those very level 6 dependent heroes making their mark. Save for Visage. Visage obviously dying twice. Not the lane he was hoping for, but Fear piling up the levels, even Fogged in pretty good shape. Taking a look back up, hang on, we're going to have a TP
on top.
Yep, Dindy found himself a smoke and is going to go as a fairly fresh level 6, going to try to get a return kill. Let's see who they want to go on. Fear's at about half health. Dindy
if he reveals a smoke, though, they're going to see him with the Observer Ward, so it's he has to be very careful about his positioning. I think his smoke revealed, but it was a little bit past the
JO's
ward, so
yep, JO's pretty much dead here. Yep. And
I don't know. Havos is really far away. This is still not that easy to kill.
There's the Vortex. And bringing him down without a whole lot of muss or fuss. In the meantime, down at bottom, we can see some pressure is being put on. Universe unable to do much in the face of Puppey and Funnick. Na'Vi finally makes their way onto the board, 1-3 at 6 minutes in.
Yep, mass plague wards on bottom. Puppey has actually maxed that as far as I can tell, and they need a Basilius in this lane if they want to push. Funnick's actually really farmed. Arcane boost with 600 gold on top of that. That is going to be a super fast Blink Ravage if he wants to do that first. He could also go a mech since they don't really have a good mech carrier, especially with Visage falling so far behind. We'll see what he wants to go, but we see a rotation from MSS, so Dendi leaving the mid lane's not problematic at all.
Yep, Dendi still hanging around this top lane, trying to make something happen. He's got a
Fog, good positioning. He knows that Storm Spirit is missing, and if they jump on Fog, Fog is dead, and Fear really can't do anything about it. So he knows he just has to be just way out of sight.
As you mentioned, hang on. Dindy shows his face. They know what's up. And Kuro and Havost out in front. Down at bottom, MSS did manage to help keep that tier 1 up. He will go ahead and head back to mid now as J.O.'s making his way out as well. J.O. at about level 4, so he's going to want level 6 before long. As you mentioned, though, Funnick is absolutely monstrously far ahead. He's actually picked up a chain.
Yeah, this tower is going to die, too, if no one comes out from EG. And they don't want to give up a free tower this early, especially when they have the Chen. They should have a decent amount of early game on their team. They're actually going on Universe.
Don't have the damage, though. The range on the sentry too short. That just makes it so he can't possibly come back forward to try to deny. They already used the glyph, so this will be a free tower kill, and Puppy's going to be the one to take it. Fog's going to go, throw out the poison touch. Puppy is tracked. There's the Ravage onto Fogged and Universe, though. And Shadow Wave, not enough to keep both standing. Universe will be able to escape thanks to track movement speed bonus, but a very nice Ravage there, really, from Funnick. You know, why hang on to it when you can guarantee yourself a kill right off the bat? And he is already making solid progress towards that mechanism.
Dendy?
And here in mid, Dindy, caught with a shackle, will be able to ball lightning away. MSS trying to give as good as he can get. 36 CS to the 40 of Dindy, so he has been hanging around, but certainly is a pain whenever you can never have rune control.
That was just a weird TP from Fog. Like, I don't exactly know what he hopes to accomplish there. Just because if you can't go on either of those two heroes when they were pushing on bottom, and he didn't actually cast Shallow Grave either. And now it just kind of lets Fear off to defend for himself on top. And Avos, like, even though he's under leveled and under farmed compared to Lifestealer, it's not like a Lifestealer can ever kill a Weaver. And when they both have boots, you can't really harass them that much either. There is a Troll Dark Summoner in case a dive does happen on top. So Jo, his creeps are fairly well placed around the map. He already has his buckler. He needs his mech up as soon as possible. They need to start taking out towers pretty darn soon. Looking at all the towers HP, it looks like everything is very, very healthy, except for the tower in mid on the side of Na'Vi.
And Fear able to rage before being caught out by Storm. He's still under a lot of pressure here. There's going to be a TP down the mid. That's going to be Dindy heading on back. Taking a look at these mid towers, as you said. Na'Vi's taking a little bit more damage, but certainly still in very good shape. Fogged has made his way back into lane at top. Early CS.
They were going to go on him right here. Oh, no. Fogg's just placing a ward.
And he's going to come out and give a little harass. There's a poison touch that'll force Havost back a bit. And Havost actually going to grab up a Midas. So it's not going to be the quickest Midas in history, but getting it up right around 10 minutes, trying to play for the late game.
They have better late game than EG, provided Dendy farms more than MSS, but that shouldn't be that tough of a problem. Ooh, we see an attempted shackle by MSS. Yeah, Dendy's been wasting a lot of time out top, but really it's just good awareness by Fear. Fear has just been doing a very good job of knowing when Storm is missing, knowing where his positioning is so that he doesn't get jumped and put in a compromising position without his supports around. And he knows when he can farm and when he can't. And this is just a really experienced carry player compared to Jo, who does seem to get caught out way more often and goes questionable builds at times.
Yep. The CS again. Actually, MSS not just hanging in. He's actually beating, at least for the moment. Certainly going to take a bigger lead with that power shot. Storm Spirit, so he's on par. It's a question of how much mileage you're going to get out of him relative to how much mileage Na'Vi is going to get out of Storm. Going to be a lot, for sure. This is certainly one of Dindy's most successful mid-heroes and fits his playstyle perfectly, as we've said. Kuro has rotated down the bottom. He's looking for level 6. Shouldn't be too far away. Vino did find 6 in the interim. Funnick level 8 now with mech and arc boots up at 10.5 minutes. So he's going to be looking to get up a Blink Dagger next, one would think. But Havost has finished his Midas in the meantime. Yeah,
so now like EG's in a pretty tough position. They like want to get kills right now, but it's just so difficult. You can't really kill Tidehunter, or I mean you can, but he has a mech, and if his team is around, you're probably going to take heavy casualties from Ravage. Funnick wrapping around mid, but looks like he will be able to dodge everybody. MSS has a haste, so I don't think he's in any danger at all. And then you don't really have any disables to kill Weaver. But he has a Midas, so you like want to kill him, and they need to keep Dendy down too. So EG's like looking for kills, and they feel the pressure on them, and they need to take out towers, but it's just so darn difficult versus Tidehunter. I think what they can start doing is making use of infest bombs, but Fear is not quite farmed enough at that point, or at least he doesn't feel like he's farmed enough to try and do that. And really the two main targets that you want to go for are Venomancer and Visage with the Lifestealer bomb. Havost, is he going to get
time lapses?
Oh, he time lapsed Hishikushi before the time lapse.
And now cleaned up. Slight mistake. There's going to be the return gush on Universe. Universe will track him out. More TPs coming. Fear will make it away, and they're not going to over pursue. like you said, Shikuching before time lapse and pursuit out there. So nice. That's such a nice kill for them to get, especially since he already spent his early gold on the Might. It's just holding him down off of any other mid-game punch sort of an item. Now they're going to collapse on mid. Fear's there, as is MSS with another haste room. We've yet to see Jo really do a whole hell of a lot. He's rotated some creeps around for some help from time to time. But for the most part, he's been quiet. They're going to need him to get much more active, and they really need to use him on to spread the map a little bit coming up.
Looks like they're going to try and deal Kurogi on bottom. He has pretty much found a free 7.5 on bottom, and he has recovered quite nicely from 0-2. But if Jo scouts him, or Universe scouts him out, which he pretty much has, looks like Kuro.
Yep.
It's going to die.
There's the shackle, will latch, and a track
They
kill.
need wards out. Like, Na'Vi, their supports have just not been playing well this game. Puppy, I mean, has pushed bottom, but he's not doing a good job of protecting the other heroes. He wasn't there when they went on Havos on top, and he hasn't placed any wards around the map, and Kuro just cut out of position 0-3. Track kills galore.
And here we go. There's a net on the Puppy. Gale will be shot, power shot off the mark, and Jo in trouble. He is about 300 short of his mech. He smoked out, got spotted out immediately. Fear rotates, as does the rest of the team. There's an open wounds on the Dindy. Dindy not a lot of mana left, and he will use the last of it to jump across the river. Funix there has Ravage if he wants to use it. Was waiting almost certainly on Fear's rage to wear off. Might have a chance to get it off now. There's a shallow grave on the Fogged himself. They're going to stay on him, secure that kill, and the Shackle will take Funix out. In the meantime, Venomancer cleans up Fogged off of the damage over time. Dindy going to jump to the north to avoid the rest of the fight. Very spread out, kind of weird fight. Not a lot of ability.
Ravage wasn't even used, or mech from Funix. So, yeah. I mean, Na'Vi, they may seem to fall behind in terms of like giving up track kills here and there, but the gold difference is still heavily in favor of them. Almost 4,000 at this point. And not having any items up on Weaver, it doesn't really matter. He doesn't really need too many items early as long as he has good positioning and good timing and good usage of Shikuchi. So, looks like he's pretty close to his... There might be a Ravage coming out.
Oh, Universe.
Does he have any... No detection.
Wow.
Again, these supports on Na'Vi, they have a dust on Venom, but it was already used Kuro on the meantime. No detection on him. That should have been an easy kill.
And Jo coming to that fight, I mean, he's done nothing basically but jungle towards a mech. I mean, he got up tier 1 boots in a Bassi, but that's
he helped with the first blood on top, but aside from that.
Yeah. I mean, he rotated out, like you said, he rotated down a lane. Since then, he's basically just been waiting for the mechanism, so it becomes pretty apparent that EG wants to take fights as a 5. There's going to be Puppy dodging a shackle off the creep there. But, yeah, I mean, a little bit of a delay on the mechanism there. He needs about another 200 gold to have it up. In the meantime, though, Na'Vi just continues to take map control. Their last tier 1 under assault down to half. They're not even going to contest it, so map control squarely in Na'Vi's favor. Not what you want when you're the one who wants to be pressing towers with that Shen and certainly opening the map up with a bounty hunter.
Yeah, Dendy is getting his farm too. He will have his second Oblivion staff very, very shortly. So we're looking like a 17, 18-minute Orchid, and they're giving up way too many towers. Looks like Puppy is on bottom, but he is in a lot of trouble. Fear's trying to hunt him down.
TPN, they're going to catch the Gale on a Fog. There's a poison touch onto him. And Funix there, he's got a Ravage, and we'll go ahead and spend it. Fear got caught. There's Hand of God. Fear Fog is going to end up dead. Fear going to work on Puppy. And here comes Funix to try and help. There's a Centaur, actually, making his way in. And there's the Stomp. Fear getting some help from Jo that time around. Fear's going to go ahead and rage out. Puppy will be cleaned up. Funix will be able to survive. Fear not wanting to take the chance on another TP. Decides to go ahead and exit out. In the meantime, at top, looks like MSS suffering a bit of damage. Dindy, full mana, low health. Mech finally up on Jo, but Centaur was sent down. Helped Fear out at least a little bit down there. Well played by him.
And Fog, you can just tell he's tired. He could have Shadow Grave TP, which is definitely what he wanted to do. Oh, there's an engagement on Dindy.
Yep, Dindy going to Vortex MSS. Havost is there. There's the mechanism. Dindy able to jump out, but MSS, one auto attack following the Visage Familiar stun. Enough to bring him down. We're all knotted up in kills now. There's going to be a track out on Kuro. Universe is there. If you're right behind him, Poison Touch pretty much seals his fate. So being able
That's a 4-hero track gold.
Yep. Being able to get a return kill that's a track kill is certainly all you want to feel pretty good about an engagement. We can see the gold, though, even with track kills. It just doesn't matter. Na'Vi is just piling it up in stacks. 7,500
the tower
their
gold
advantage.
is way too much right now. Like, they have 3 towers right now, about to take a 4th, and EG's getting kills, but they have to devote so many resources to it. They only had, what, 2 heroes on top, and they still got a very high priority. Actually, 3 heroes up top. They got a very high priority kill on the Windrunner. He has his 4-staff completed. Looks like Funnick is going to get shackled on bottom, but...
Already feeling so tanky, and Fog's there, but they both got caught with Gale. Funnick doesn't have Ravage. Mech is up if they have to have it. Universe will come down throughout the track. MSS going to try to go, but here's Dindy getting the Vortex off. MSS brought down. Fear going to engage on the Funnick. He is tracked. Will be a track kill. Off goes the Poison Nova. In the meantime, we're going to see MSS dropping. Universe next on the list. 3-0, and somehow Dindy got away. That DD...
Funnick got away.
Yeah, Funnick, rather.
He's just so tanky. He has 1,200 HP and a mech.
Fear comes back out. Immediately Vortex.
Oh, where's the rage?
And there it is finally. They're right on him. He may be right-click down and will be. Mech a little late on Jo. And that's going to end up being the fight we look back on, I think, where we're going to recognize things are finally getting out of reach for EG. After that, they're going to lose this tier 2, and they're at 10,000 gold deficit. Orchid's now done on Storm. Like, how do you come back from that kind of a disastrous rotation?
Just some sloppy play all around. Like, Lifestealer didn't have a TP scroll, and he could have, like, rage TP'd or just rage and run away. But he got Vortex before he could have raged, and, I mean, that just made it a way easier kill than it should have been. And Na'Vi looking to get this easy tower, and they will. MSS tries to go in for the deny, but, I mean, who do you focus on Na'Vi right now? Like, even Venomacer, he has 18 armor and a Ghost Scepter.
Yep.
Like, there's no way the Lifestealer can kill him, so scratch him off. Weaver... he doesn't have a basher or anything on the Lifestealer, so there's no way they're going to be able to keep him down. They don't have any disables, period, except for Shackle Shot. So Weaver, not a very good target. He has a Ghost Scepter too. So even if he is caught by some miracle, and he has Ghost Scepter. So, and then we have the Storm Spirit, who can just jump around, and there's a Shackle on Vos, but manages to get the Shikuchi off in time. And then we have Visage. Visage is probably the best target, but even with the Gravekeepers, he has 21 armor right now. And then we just saw what happened when they could try to go on Tidehunter. So it's just not an easy road for EG. And this is, I mean, you need some sort of disables on them. And this is one of the reasons why people don't really like Windrunner, because like until you get her sheep, nothing is really reliable.
MSS kind of with a hopeful shackle there. Angle wasn't there, so he's going to be forced to fall back. And at this point, Na'Vi, I mean, look how far in the Storm Spirit is. Dindy sitting at 5-0 right now. Has his Orchid up, has 600 gold towards a Mithril Hammer on top of an Ogre Club sitting in his base. I mean, once he gets a BKB with his Orchid, which by all accounts...
Jo. They're may go on him.
Here, and we're going to see Universe.
Oh, there's a Fest Bomb. Uh-oh.
And they're going to come out. There's the Weave. They're going to try to bring down Puppy. Puppy able to get the Gale off. There's a Shackle on the Funnick. They're continuing to pursue out Puppy, but open wounds on Funnick. Force Staff gets him to safety. Got the Poison Nova off. Now Kuro's there. Universe can't do anything but retreat. Ravage gonna catch 3. 2 in the river. 1 on the high ground. MSS did dodge it. Throws out the power shot, but not nearly the firepower they need. There's a little bit of a heal on to Fear, so he's doing his best with that armlet as well as Shadow Wave to keep himself alive. Gonna move back forward. We saw Dindy jump into the back, and Funnick once again forced Staff to safety. In the meantime, they lose Fear. MSS next on the list. That's a full 5-man wipe. And honestly, we may even see a GG
just
soon.
kited non-stop. And yeah, this is the problem. Who do you go on? They even had an Fest Bomb. Puppy, immediate Ghost Scepter. Funnick just played around with them with 4 staffs.
Yep.
And then they just can't kill anyone else. They almost got Hiroki, and then he was able to escape too. So, I mean, they were very well-timed Ravage by Funnick. Very nice usage of 4-staff. And you could tell he was just waiting, just like making them commit to him, and then just going out of their reach. And they're like, well, crap, we got to find another target. And they just had so much downtime on that fight in terms of being able to focus on a target that hurt them so badly. And when you're Bounty Hunter and you're this far behind on kills, and you just get 5-0'd, the track gold pretty much becomes irrelevant.
There's a Veil of Discord even on the Venomancer, and we can see they're not even worried about building a lot of right-click on Havos. They're fine. They've got the damage they need. They're going to pull back, but only 1 outer tier tower remains now for EG, while all 3 tier 1s still standing at the moment for Na'Vi. They have just completely dismantled this draft of EG. And again, you know, it's not to lay the blame on one hero or on 2 in this case, but you know, you pick a Chen, you need to get certain things out of that Chen. Jo just didn't get the job done in this game, and as you mentioned,
and
Universe.
The synergy with Dazzle doesn't really happen. Like,
yeah,
there's no synergy there.
Yeah, I mean, it can work if you get everything moving forward. We just haven't seen that. Universe has only been involved in 3 kills the entire game. I think he Granted, those 3 kills might have been track, but he's not even level 11 yet. So, I mean, he's even lacking level 2 track. Level 1 is nice, but that's not going to be...
Smoke Roshan from EG. Yeah. That's a good move from them.
They're going to try to take a chance.
Oh, wait, is Havos actually going to scout it out? Oh, my goodness. What a heads-up play by Havos here. They don't even know that he knows. Oh, well, now they do.
And here comes Na'Vi. Havos probably could have bought time there and just waited on them. Instead, he's going to pursue them out. Here's the loop around, though. Puppey and Kuro heading to the high ground. The familiars there as well, and they're going to lose one immediately. There's a stun onto Universe. Puppey's going to move forward. Oh, what a Gale! Catches 4 with the Poison Nova as well, and the Ravage! GG has to be.
Oh, ugly.
What a disaster.
Devastation.
Oh, man.
Funnick is just way too farmed, and I doubted the Tidehunter pick, but Funnick just played like an absolute beast this game. Look at his farm. Look at his kills. Look at his deaths.
That'll be 5 down. Oh, man. There is.
There's an EB on Weaver, too.
Right here. 4-man Gale, 4-man Poison Nova. I didn't see if it was a 5-man Ravage, but it was certainly a 4. Na'Vi comes out swinging and doesn't even need the help of the Weaver. Havos didn't have to build a single right-click item all game, just on the strength of their support play, on the strength of Dendi, who dominated out of mid. 7-0-4, the finish for him on Storm Spirit. And on the back of one of the most farmed Tidehunters I think any of us have seen in quite some time. They roll up a 22-minute, 38-second win. And Na'Vi, yeah, they're pretty good at Dota. I mean, EG, granted, haven't slept, but this is about as impressive a win as I've seen in a while.
Yeah, that was just, I mean, they even got behind early, but they just really put things together. Dendi not dying, Funnick not dying, and they just absolutely demolished EG. EG, they need some sleep. I feel bad for them. I feel for them.
Take a look at Funnick's GPM, by the way. Funnick's GPM higher than anyone on the side of EG that game. Higher than absolutely anyone. Storm Spirit, the only Storm and Weaver actually a little bit higher than him. But just really nice play, and the worries we had about that Tidehunter pick just never really came to fruition. Again, 22 minutes, 38 seconds, the official game time, 20-7. The final kill score, game 1 in the books, and Na'Vi takes a 1-0 lead. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, and we're going to be moving ahead to Game 2. EG going to look to knot the series in force of Game 3. Going to have to overcome the exhaustion playing throughout the entire night in G League or G1 qualifiers. Can't remember, was it G League or G1? Caught it. Was it G League or G1 that EG was in?
Just G League.
G League, okay. Yeah, but I didn't know if G1 had actually. Anyway, a sleep-deprived Evil Geniuses squad going to be looking to force a Game 3, but if Na'Vi can roll off this momentum, going to be a task much harder to complete than to talk about. So we'll be right back. Game 2 coming up in just a few minutes. Stick with us here on the HyperX D2L. We'll be right back.